Hey people, I want to go over a little problem that I had on my Mac. I have a 2018 Mac Mini. I installed Monterey and it completely bricked my Mac. So I couldn't do anything with it. It wouldn't even get power or anything. The fix for that you can find online. It's using the configuration 2 utility where you have to hook two Macs together. Another Mac with the USB-C cable, and then you run the configuration utility to actually rewrite the firmware. Because apparently Monterey, if you're running an Intel, will brick the firmware and you need to rewrite it. My problem is I actually had that done for me since it's under warranty. It's under Apple Care. I had a Mac Apple certified repair person take care of that for me, so I didn't have to worry about it. But after I got it back, I didn't want to run Monterey because some of my software didn't work. My problem is I couldn't restore to anything after it uploaded to Monterey, or after it upgraded to Monterey. Time Machine would not see any of my backups, and I had multiple backups because I was experimenting with larger drives. I was experimenting with a 14 terabyte drive on an Asus router, which worked, but every time I tried to access it, I would get an error saying it couldn't be found, even though it showed up as a restore point. And so what I'm doing now is I am building a Big Sur bootable USB. I went ahead, did the Control R, or the what's it called? The Command R after I rebooted. Actually, it was Control Command R because I'm running an Intel to do a restore, and that's where I couldn't find anything. So I went ahead and let it install Monterey through the restore. Now I'm building a rebootable USB drive with Big Sur. But I'm going to show you, after I reboot this, when this is done, I'm going to show you why I can't find any of my restore points and how to fix it. Alright, now that my Big Sur bootable USB is finished, I'm going to eject it. If I go to Finder, here is the install for Big Sur. I'm going to go ahead and eject that disk. Go ahead and force eject it. It's completed. I'm going to pull the USB out. I don't want it in my Mac Mini, but I do want the HDMI connected. I'll tell you why. I'm running an external GPU, and when you're see, my screen comes up and shows it's like 2. That's the HDMI, and that is the external GPU. The problem is when you reboot your, I don't know about a MacBook or maybe a Mac Pro, but this Mac Mini does not see the external GPU when it's in recovery mode. So you have to have the HDMI connected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and I'm going to restart. And then I'm going to hold the Command R when I get the chime. Actually, Option Command R. I gotta wait for it to actually reboot. There it goes. When I get the chime, hit those, hold them until I get the Apple logo come up. There you go. Now I can let go of them. It's going to go ahead and try to do. So what I'm going to show you is what's been happening. So I'm going to go ahead and let this finish. All right, so we're in recovery mode now. And if I go in here and I look here, I have a 5 terabyte hard drive right here. I'm going to plug in. This has my image, my backup image on it. But up on top of my cabinet up there, there is a 14 terabyte external drive plugged into my router. So if I go in here and I hit recovery time machine and go into recovery mode, finds it, but you don't see the external drive that I just plugged in. That drive, I try to access it, it comes up and tells me I can't find it. So, what I found out is this is an Intel-based Mac. If you go up here to Utilities, and you got Startup Security Utility, when they bounced my firmware, so I got to enter my password. Hold on a second. Here we go. So when this starts up now, when they rewrote my firmware, they obviously reset everything back to default. I need to come down and I need to turn this on. Allow booting from external and removable media. Then I can turn that, I can go ahead and close that. Restore. I might need to reboot because I still can't see my. See how it wants to come up and reinstall Mac OS Monterey? I need to first go in here, hit this thing, and erase it. Let's go back. See, there's my drive. That's my drive that has my backup. If I go to this top one, I should be able to erase. I'm supposed to get an option that says erase all. Erase. So this completely dumps my. This won't let me eject either. I wonder if I can unmount it. You go try to eject. It'll say, oh, it's in use. Okay, so what I'm going to try and do now is I'm going to try to go back into recovery with my Big Sur disk. Let me see if I can plug that in and see what happens, or I might need to reboot. Okay, so now that I've rebooted after turning off security, you can see it says restore from time machine backup, and now it says reinstall Mac OS. Install a copy of the Mac OS. Now I'm going to try this first to see if my drives show up. Which this one here does. Let's see if I get the same error. Oh, see, now I can log into my hold on. Okay, so now it's logged in. Now I got some backups. I think this one is not any good. But this one, I can go ahead and click on that and click continue, and it's probably going to take a while. No, that one's broke. What is this one? Let's let this come up. Now, this will probably take a while because it's about 900 gigs of stuff. It's right before I cleaned everything off of my computer. All my YouTube videos have been moved to an external drive, but this backup was right before I did that. So let me let this finish and then I'll be back. Nope, still having the same problem. So we're gonna come over here, we're gonna close Time Machine. Because if you can see, when you go to select backup, it still doesn't show my external drive. So what we're gonna do, I wonder what this reinstall Mac OS shows. I wonder if it's gonna, that wants to install Catalina. I don't want Catalina. So we're gonna come back here, we're gonna hit restart, and I'm gonna hold down the Option key, and we're gonna see if my thumb drive that has Big Sur on it will come up. What do we got there? Look at that. Install OS Big Sur. I want to go ahead Big Sur Internet Recovery. So we're going to go ahead and let this run and we'll be back. Well, it looks like the only option I've got is to install Catalina. So I'm going to try to install Catalina and then run the Big Sur install and upgrade Catalina to Big Sur. For some reason, this just isn't working right ever since I installed Monterey. It's like it's done something to the firmware that's making this really difficult. So let me finish this install and see if we can go from there. All right, so now that I'm up on Catalina, I just plugged in my USB drive, double clicked on it. Now I'm installing Big Sur. So let's see if that finishes, and then let's see if it sees my Time Machine backups, and then I can run the Migration Assistant. Hopefully this goes through. This has really been painful, and Apple really made this difficult. There's a serious problem with their Monterey update for Intel machines. Okay, so I got Big Sur up. If I go up here, I can hit on the Apple About My Mac, and you can see Big Sur is loaded. The Mac is going to want to tell me down here in Preferences that I have an update available. And it's going to want me to update to Monterey, which I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to update. But there are other updates available. I can hit in here and I can update Safari and some of these other ones. But I'm not going to do that right now. So if you go and you open up Finder, go to Applications, go down to Utilities, you'll have right here Migration Assistant. Double click on that, bring that up, type in my password, hold on. Now it's going to ask me how do I want to update. I'm going to tell it I want to update from a Mac, a Time Machine backup. Continue. It's going to go through, and I'm looking. Let's see if I can do it from here. I'm going to let it go through. I should, if I quit out of this and log in, let it run until I want to go from my Mac, continue. Okay, so I'm going to try first the last thing I backed up, and that's on this Asus router. It has a 14 terabyte drive on it. They say they only support 5 terabytes, but 14 works just fine. So as you can see, it's loading the backup. So let's just see how this goes. There it goes. Last backup, November 5th. So I want to go into that and look at my other backups, because I need to go before I went to Monterey. So I went to Monterey. I'm trying to look at this paperwork from the Mac service, the Apple service. I turned this in on the 3rd, and I think it was on the 2nd that everything went to crap. So we'll go, just to be sure, we want to restore from the 1st. That should be there we go. Mac ports, applications. It looks like, and it shouldn't be that much, because I had taken all my movies and stuff out. So I'm gonna let this thing run and get all caught up before we go ahead and restore. All right, so here we go. 209 gigs. So we'll hit continue. Let's see. Hold on, let me go ahead and put in a password. Okay. Let me do this. Now we just hit continue on this because we want to replace the account. No. Well, authorize, hold on. Okay, that's done. All right, so let's go ahead and let this restore, and we'll be back. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and it's going to reboot on me. It's finished all the migration, and we'll see how it comes up. I got a bunch of errors on things that are not allowed. I'll have to go into security and reset them. And there we are. Everything's back up. That was the most difficult restore. It took the whole day to restore this. And there's some things that are popping up for security that I've got to allow, but it's got it restored. So if you don't want to go through the pain and suffering that I've been through for the last day, don't upgrade to Monterey. All right, everything's back up. Still had an issue with downloading. Safari was coming up telling me there wasn't enough space on the hard drive, but it was about 700 gigs. What I found out is those security hits that came in when the restore had to go in and allow them and then reboot, and now everything's working. Everything's back to normal. I'll talk to you all later. Got any comments, questions, just leave them below. Subscribe. Talk to you later.